When you were a kid, did you ever sit in the back seat of your dad's car and watch him unscrew that long metal antenna before pulling into a parking lot? He never explained why. He just did it like a habit, like muscle memory. Years later, you'd figure it out. In 1980s America, antenna theft was so common that the government ran PSAs warning people about it. Someone could snap a metal antenna off in seconds to resell, repurpose, or sometimes just to be destructive. That's why your dad took it off every time he parked. That's the memory of an entire generation. And now, on the roof of the car you drive today, there's a small piece of plastic shaped like a fin. You see it every day. You've probably never really thought about it. But here's something that'll make you look at it in a completely different way. Welcome to Mysteries of Simple Things, the channel where everyday secrets are uncovered and explained. To understand why that little fin is one of the most interesting pieces of engineering on a modern car, we need to back up a bit. Those long rod antennas your dad used to pull off every night, they were actually really good at one thing: picking up AM and FM signals from an impressive distance. Some people could pull in a radio station from hundreds of miles away with nothing but that thin metal rod. But they also broke easily, got stolen, created annoying wind noise at highway speeds, and couldn't do anything besides pick up radio. By the 1990s, the automotive world needed more. It needed GPS, cell phones, satellite, and the auto industry faced a real problem. How do you fit all of that in one place without making the car look like a rolling broadcast tower? BMW was the first to figure it out. In the early 2000s, they moved the shark fin design from the drawing board into mass production. It wasn't random that they landed on that shape. A shark's dorsal fin is the result of 450 million years of evolution optimizing movement through water. When engineers needed something that could stick up off a car roof with as little drag as possible, they looked to nature and found the answer had been sitting there for hundreds of millions of years. This is biomimicry, copying nature, the same principle behind airplane wing design and wind turbines. And it works so well that more than 80% of new cars on the road today have one. But here's the part that makes most people's jaws drop. Inside that plastic housing the size of your fist, there can be up to 8 separate antennas, all working at the same time. Not 1, not 2, 8. AM, FM, GPS satellite radio, like Sirius XM. 4. GLTE5, G cellular Wi-Fi Bluetooth, and V2X, the system that lets cars communicate with other vehicles and road infrastructure. Imagine 8 people standing in a room the size of your fist, each one shouting into a different phone, and none of them picking up each other's signals. That's exactly what's happening on your car's roof every time you drive. But why does it have to be on the roof? This is where physics gets really interesting, and it also explains something you may have experienced without ever knowing why. Have you ever noticed your phone loses signal or gets weaker reception when you're sitting inside a car? That's not a coincidence. Your car's metal body acts like a Faraday cage, a metal enclosure that blocks most electromagnetic waves from the outside. GPS signals, cellular, satellite, all of it gets blocked by the car's body. The shark fin on the roof is the only way out of that cage. From there, specialized cables carry the signal down through the headliner into the car's systems. Without that fin sitting in the right spot, your car is essentially a sealed metal box to the outside world. And speaking of signals, the GPS satellites that little fin is pulling from are orbiting at 12,550 miles up, more than 50 times the distance from New York to Los Angeles. The signal travels all the way down from there so weak it's barely measurable, and the fin sitting on the roof, unblocked by the car's body with a clear line of sight to the sky, is the only spot on the car that can reliably catch it. Now pause for a second and look out the window of your car. Not the side window, the rear window. See those parallel horizontal lines running across the glass. You probably always thought those were just the defroster wires, right? Not quite. On many modern cars, those lines don't just heat the glass to clear condensation in the winter. They're also AM, FM antennas built directly into the glass itself. Volkswagen, many GM, and Ford models all do this. Radio antennas hidden in plain sight, disguised as something you'd never pay attention to. Next time you look at your rear windshield, you're looking at a perfectly camouflaged antenna array. And you've looked at it hundreds, maybe thousands of times without knowing it. This is actually why the shark fin antenna sometimes gets criticized for weaker AM/FM reception compared to old-school rod antennas, because that job has already been handed off somewhere else. The fin handles GPS, satellite, cellular, and Wi-Fi. Radio is the rear window's job now. That's not a design failure, that's a smart division of labor. But here's the thing that will completely change how you see that little piece of plastic. The e-call system, mandatory in Europe since 2018, and becoming more common on American cars, uses the cellular antenna inside the shark fin to do one thing automatically called 911 when the car detects a serious crash. It sends your exact GPS coordinates to emergency responders, even if you're unconscious, even if nobody knows where you are, even if you can't lift your hand to dial. That little fin the size of your fist on the car roof can quite literally be the thing that saves your life on the worst night of your life. And that's not all it's quietly doing. Every night while your car sits in the garage, the cellular antenna in that fin may be downloading new software updates for your car the same way your phone updates itself overnight. You wake up the next morning back out of the driveway and the car has already been improved without you doing a thing. Tesla is famous for this, but Ford, GM, and Toyota are all rolling it out too. Think about it. Your dad unscrewed that rod antenna every night because he was afraid it'd get stolen. The thing that replaced it on your car roof today handles 8 jobs at once. Pulls signals from satellites 12,000 miles away, hides radio antennas inside your rear window, and can call an ambulance for you if you're knocked unconscious. From the metal rod your dad worried would get stolen in a parking lot to the little fin that might save your life in the dark. That's not just a design change. That's a quiet revolution playing out right on top of your car while you weren't paying attention. Next time you walk out to your car in the morning, take 1 second to look up at the roof. That little piece of plastic isn't just a styling detail. It's proof that sometimes the most remarkable things are designed to go completely unnoticed.